family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
I like a good serial killer documentary. He hasn't taken the pounding that wide receivers take.
It's just a pound job, and guys are tired towards that 4 minutes.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
I would be lying to you if I said I had not heard things. They're like a bad rash. You hear a lot of things. Some are true, some aren't.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you, Jacksonville. We're glad you're spending part of your Thursday evening with us. A Thursday evening where NBA playoffs are going on. Some potential closeout games tonight in both the Denver and LA Clippers series and the game going on right now between the Knicks and the Detroit Pistons. We will keep you updated. Some closeout situations in the National Hockey League. Boy, last night was a tough one. The Florida Panthers all over the Tampa Bay Lightning. So if you're a bandwagon Tampa Bay Lightning or a fan of the Orlando Magic, both seasons have come to an end in the last 48 hours. But if you're a Florida Panther fan, for the 7 of you that are here in the city of Jacksonville, congratulations on beating Tampa Bay last night. And we also got some clarity on the Jaguars, including a rookie mini camp that they will be holding next week at the Miller Electric Center. So we got a lot to do. It's going to be a lot of Jaguar talk tonight, as you can imagine. Guest lineup looks like this. One of the guys that I haven't talked to in a while, you hear him every week on Hacker After Dark during the season, but we like to give him some space in the offseason. But when developments warrant in the offseason, we do like to get my buddy Cecil Shorts on, former wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we're going to have Cecil joining us here tonight in less than 15 minutes. I want to talk to him. Guy played 7 years in the NFL as a wide receiver. What are his thoughts on Travis Hunter? How will Travis Hunter work with Brian Thomas Jr.? Is it possible to play both wide receiver and defensive back? And I'm not talking about from a stamina standpoint. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. played over 100 snaps at Colorado, and the home games were at elevation. I mean, obviously, Travis Hunter is in ridiculously good shape. Stamina may not be the only issue. But there's only enough hours in the day, right? 24 hours in the day between team meetings. If you're a wide receiver, you got to know what your other wide receivers are doing. You got to be able to communicate with Trevor Lawrence. You got to know all the check calls. You got to know the defense you're playing, the cornerbacks you're going up against. If you need to chip on one of the defensive ends or outside linebackers, what are his tendencies? You need to know all of that. And then if you're also going to play on defense, you need to know everything the opposing offense is doing, everything you're doing. I think we've just been talking about it from a standpoint of, can he physically play, 80, 90, 100 snaps a game? Physically is one thing. Mentally and not doing things you're not supposed to be doing is something completely different. So we're going to talk to Cecil Shorts about all that. Former Jaguar wide receiver. He comes up tonight in less than 15 minutes. Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Luke is one of my favorites to talk draft with. We had him on a bunch in pre-draft. I want to get Luke on to talk about not only Travis Hunter, but the rest of the Jaguar draft class. And in the 9 o'clock hour, former All-American tight end at the University of Florida, my buddy Ben Troop. Ben from the state of Georgia. That's where Travis Hunter obviously played his high school football. Ben's got a lot of thoughts on Travis Hunter. He's a former Titan, so he has thoughts on Cam Ward going to Nashville. And Ben Troop has some thoughts, of course, about his alma mater, particularly DJ Lagway, reportedly and on a video back to throwing the football now that spring practice is in the rearview mirror. So we got a ton to do, Jacksonville. We're with you till 10 o'clock. As always, we are glad you are spending part of your Thursday evening with us. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal? No, because it is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
I'm going to throw this out there, Denmark. All right, we had Willis Reed. It's NBA playoff time, right? We had Willis Reed come back from an injury at the Garden. Legendary. We had Jack Youngblood play on a broken leg in the National Football League. I'm not going to say I'm on their level right now, but I'm probably just underneath. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the facts of the matter. I'm nursing a sore throat. Frog in the throat. I'm nursing the sniffles. All right. I got problems right now. Okay. But there comes times in life where you separate the men from the boys. And if I have to push through the sniffles and push through a sore throat to get you the sports information you need until 10 o'clock tonight, well, that's my goal in life. That's where I hope I can be. At 10 o'clock tonight, I hope to bring you things that you did not know at 8:06 Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to push through the sniffles. I'm going to push through the sore throat. Luckily, the cough hasn't come yet, but if it does, I'll push through that as well.
It has begun.
I am with you until 10 o'clock tonight right here on Hacker After Dark. All right, so this was something that I was thinking about driving in earlier today. I was on the Frangie show earlier with Hayes Carline. Certainly enjoyed that. I'll be back on there tomorrow as well. All right, so today's May 1st. All right, I know that because I looked at the calendar this morning. So today's May 1st. It's the fourth month of the offseason, parts of January, February, March, April. I guess it's the fifth. I mean, it's less than 4 months, but it's really the fifth month of the offseason if you want to do that. And one thing that struck me on the drive in was we've spent a lot of time this offseason talking about Liam Cohen and that whole saga about how he became head coach, right? The drama about firing Doug Peterson and relieving Trent Baalke of his duties and how the Liam Cohen thing came about. We've also spent a lot of time on James Gladstone, right? The search for the GM. When were they finally going to hire a GM? We spent time on Tony Baselli becoming EVP of football operations, which, again, I love. Then we were the most active team in pro free agency. We've signed, 11 or even a dozen outside free agents so far? Now it's all about Travis Hunter. Trading up, Gladstone, wanting to bring intangibly rich people into the ecosystem, going to get the Heisman Trophy winner, going to get Travis Hunter. So here we sit on the first day of May. OTAs are later this month. Minicamp is next month, and training camp is now well inside of 90 days away. How much have we talked about Trevor Lawrence this offseason? At least on this show, not very much. And it is a huge year for Trevor Lawrence. Year 5, his third different head coach, his third different offensive coordinator, his third different system. Coming off last year, getting all that money, coming off the disappointment that was the 2024 season. Remember the last time we saw him, he took that cheap shot from Azeez Al-Shire in the game against Houston? Gigantic year for Trevor Lawrence. But he's kind of been on the back burner a little bit, right? We've been talking so much about Hunter, Cohen, Gladstone, Baselli, the free agent haul, the trade, everything in the last 3.5, 4 months. It's probably good that we haven't spent a lot of time on Trevor yet. We will as we get closer to training camp. I have no doubt. It's a huge story. But for the first time in a while, Trevor's kind of been, I won't say back page news, but it kind of has been like that, right? Under the radar news, if you will. Maybe it's good that the franchise, generational guy that was proclaimed by many hasn't lived up to that, no question. But he's kind of been under the radar this offseason. Maybe that's good. Maybe some of the pressure hasn't been ratcheted up any more than what's already there. Again, training camp, different animal, preseason, a different animal, I get that. But we've gone through January, February, March, April, and now we're into May. And this is really the first time, at least on my show, I've talked to you about Trevor Lawrence, which I thought was pretty interesting as I was gathering my thoughts for the show here on the drive-in earlier today. What about Trevor Lawrence? What about him? Is he going to have a good year? Needs to have a good year, right? Obviously. If you have Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, you invested all that capital in him. Needs to have a good year. You got De'Ami Brown as well. Gabe Davis. It's funny, we don't even think about Gabe Davis being a part of this team. If you get anything from him. Parker Washington showed some things last year. You got Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, the two rookie running backs, Tootin, Allen. Tight end, we'll see with Brenton Strange. You got 6 new offensive linemen, 4 in pro free agency, 2 in the draft. If they wanted to make things easier for Trevor Lawrence, if they wanted to surround Trevor Lawrence with talent, well, give Gladstone and Cohen this. They've tried to do that. They've tried. Is it the amount of talent you need to be a winning football team? To be determined, but they have certainly done some things to help the franchise quarterback. And Shad Khan did some things to help Trevor Lawrence by simply getting Press Taylor and, to a lesser extent, Doug Peterson out of here and bringing in the likes of Liam Cohen, which we saw what he did with Baker Mayfield last year in Tampa. More on Trevor Lawrence as the hours, days, and weeks go on. But again, just if you don't think of anything else on Hacker After Dark after this evening, after 10 o'clock, ponder that. How many times in the last 4 months have you been around the water cooler with your buddies, talking Jaguars, talking Liam Cohen, Gladstone, Bedsole, Travis Hunter, free agency, the trade, talking all that? When's the last time you talked about Trevor Lawrence? Some food for thought. Cecil Shorts, former wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars, joins me every week during the season. We get Cecil periodically in the offseason, but when they trade up to take the Heisman winner, when they say the Heisman winner and Travis Hunter is going to be starting on offense, well, let me go to the 7-year wide receiver in the National Football League. My buddy Cecil Shorts joins me next to talk Travis Hunter, talk about the wide receiver defensive back situation. Can he do both? How will Travis's game work with BTJ's game? And all points in between. Former Jaguar Cecil Shorts joins us next. Hacker After Dark on a Thursday, right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
She's the gem of your ride home.
You've got something everybody wants. You've got talent, girl.
Lauren Brooks.
And I'm not just saying that.
On Helmets and Heels from noon to 2.
If you want to rock, you got to break the rules.
On 1010XL.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I don't see how a new air conditioner is going to work out for me.
Well, you like air conditioning, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. But a new air conditioner could be expensive.
Well, not if you...
I mean, to save up the money, I probably have to give up my extra hot skim latte every morning. Now I fall asleep during a staff meeting, get volunteered for the summer picnic committee, and end up sitting in the dunk tank all afternoon getting water up my nose.
Okay, look at it this way. Put on these sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing puts in a new AC. We hook you up with affordable financing, and you stay cool and comfortable for just $149 a month. Cool?
Cool. I see it now.
Life can be hard on your budget. If you suffer through the heat because of a broken AC you could totally afford to replace, you could visit.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Looking for a fun-filled evening that the whole family can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football, a fast-paced, action-filled sport where excitement meets family fun. Check out your hometown Sharks on Saturday, May 3rd at 7 p.m. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. Go Sharks!
Prosser here. The Sharks look to get back in winning form this Saturday while you enjoy a fun-filled evening. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Discover the thrill of indoor football, fast-paced, action-filled, family fun, and check out our hometown Sharks. Saturday, May 3rd, kickoff, 7 o'clock at the ViStar Memorial Arena. For tickets and the family 4-pack information, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700.
Go Sharks!
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford.
In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started. and we'll be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think.
Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 1st, 1991, MLB outfielder Rickey Henderson steals his 939th base, setting a new MLB record for stolen bases.
Join us at Miller Electric May 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. We're on the lookout for talented people, from entry-level to experienced electricians and foremen, security system installation and service technicians, fire alarm system service technicians, and both senior and junior VDV technicians. This is your chance to get hired on the spot. Meet the managers, indulge in delicious food, and snag some awesome giveaways. Don't miss out on this electrifying chance to power up your career. Miller Electric, May 29th, 4 to 7 p.m., 6805 South Point Parkway.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
It's back! Mia here. The Summer Starts Here event is hot and going on now at Arlington Toyota. Why should you buy from Arlington? How about over 800 vehicles in one location and 60-day exchange? Buy it, take it home. If it's not right for you, you have 60 days to exchange it. Plus, right now, get financing as low as 0% on select new models. Shop Summer Starts Here at Arlington Toyota. In person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295, or at arlingtontoyota.com.
Spring has sprung, and so have the bugs. It's Hayes Carline and my friends at Kingfish Pest Control offer an exclusive $99 spring special. That's right, your initial pest control service is just $99. And if you call today, they'll include a free one-time mosquito treatment. Kingfish Pest Control is family-owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts, and 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguar draft in the rearview mirror, 9 draft picks in total. Of course, the headliner was on Thursday last week when the Jaguars traded up to take Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter. Let's talk to a man that played wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars, among other teams in the NFL. 7 years in the National Football League. My buddy Cecil Shorts, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Cecil, how you doing?
RG, I'm well, man. I'm well. It was an exciting draft moment last weekend, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, let's take you through your emotions. Your former team, the Jaguars, picking number 5. They trade up in round 1 to take Travis Hunter. We'll talk about the player in a moment, but Cecil, the move up, the aggressive move up from 5 to 2, what did you think about that move?
I was surprised. I had mixed emotions. I think when I look at Gladstone, I think this is like, all right, this is what we're going to get when you're messing around with Gladstone. Like, he's like, hey, I'm really loving this guy. I own it. We're going to attack and be aggressive, which is kind of different than previous regimes with the Jaguars, right? I love hearing him talk. I feel like I'm talking to a mad scientist. I'm listening to a mad scientist just going into it and the words he used, and he just seems excited about Travis Hunter. But the move, you gave up a lot. You gave up a whole lot. But I think what you're banking on, if you're Gladstone, the Jaguars, is that your return will be greater than what you gave up. You got a chance to get a guy that's unbelievably talented. And when you believe in a guy, I'm huge on this. And if an organization believes in a guy, then that's your person to go get. You go get him no matter what. So I like the aggressive move. I'm just hoping it pays off at the end. And then they got to be very strategic how they want to use him, right? They got to be very strategic on how they use him and taking care of his body and, what will be his role on defense, on offense, the whole nine. So the move was crazy. It stirred up the entire draft. That's when the draft started. When they went from 5 to 2, that's when the draft officially started.
So it appears they're going to start Travis Hunter at wide receiver. So you're a perfect person to ask. 7 years as a wide receiver in the National Football League. Your thoughts on Hunter's game in the NFL and the idea of him being across from Brian Thomas Jr. has a lot of people here in Jacksonville salivating at that thought.
It's going to be, I think, it's a chance to be special. When you look at a guy like Travis Hunter on film, honestly, he reminds me a little bit of BTJ. He reminds me a little bit of Justin Jefferson. He reminds me a little bit of Chad Ochocinco at times. Just his ability to be extremely athletic, getting out of his breaks quickly, the way he goes up and gets the ball. I think the biggest thing is run after catch. You can give him a 5-yard hitch or a crossing route at 4 or 5 yards. He'll catch his spin move, make 2 guys miss, and take it to the house. And when you have that on the other side of already an explosive player in BTJ, Trevor Lawrence should be like salivating at the mouth right now. Like it's like I have weapons galore on the outside. And when you think about what all he can do, he's still like, because he played both ways, right? I think he averaged over 110 or 12 snaps a game in college. If he continues to work on his craft, as far as the receiver position I'm talking about, he can be special. Like, he could be really, really good because he was able to get away with so many, I guess, lack of technique to say this, because he's so athletic and he's so good and he's so talented, that if he can refine his technique and really work on those things, he could be a special wide receiver. And then the opposite side of BTJ, that's just scary. So he has something in him that's just different. He's truly a unicorn. I've never seen a guy that's able to catch like, he does everything well, but it's so much potential still there. Like, if he just played one side of the ball, I think he'll be the best receiver in the league in 2 or 3 years. That's how talented I think he is. That's how raw I think he is. But he reminds me of a Justin Jefferson. He reminds me of a Chad Ochocinco. He reminds me of a little bit of a BTJ in different moments. This kid can be unbelievable on the offensive side of the ball. And personally, I think he's the offensive side of the ball, because that's where the biggest impact will come from, in my opinion. Because anytime he touches the ball, it's a chance for him to go to the house. Anytime he touches the ball, it could be a 5-yard hitch. Now it's a 30-yard gain. Now it's a 60-yard touchdown. He can make the tough play on 3rd down. He can take that pressure off of BTJ. So now you ain't got to just worry about BTJ. You got to play more true to the defense, which more true to the passing game, which opens up the running game. So like, it's just so many things that he brings to the table that I think he's unlocking when he plays offense.
Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. All right, now the question is, Cecil, can he do both, offense and defense? You got a lot of guys like me that watch the game that are giving their opinion. Well, you lived it for 7 years at wide receiver, the same position Travis Hunter is going to play. Can he play full-time receiver and defensive back? I mean, my thought is, he plays full-time wide receiver, and maybe you put him in there for 15 snaps at DB, maybe dime package or late in games, something along those lines. I mean, what's your thought as a former wide receiver? Do you think he can also play defensive back as well?
RG, this is tough. I think full-time both ways as a rookie, I just don't know. I'm talking full-time first, right? I don't know how you'll schedule practices for him. Like, you got to be very intentional about what days he's in the film room with the quarterbacks and the receivers and the offense. You got to be very intentional about what days he's going to be in the film room with the defensive backs, the defense, and the defensive coordinator. You got to be very intentional about what his reps look like in practice, because offense and defense don't really practice together that much. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, Is he going to, he may be able to play a lot of snaps in the game, but he got to get those snaps in practice. So the 100 plus whatever snaps he got at Colorado, he has to get that in the league. Is different. He has to get that in practice to learn the proper techniques, to learn what he's looking for, how to be better with his eyes. To me, it's going to be extremely hard and extremely intentional of how they use him on the defense or offense side of the ball. They got to be very strategic, which I think Gladstone and Liam can do, but it's going to be a ton of total team effort, right? I think, like you said, the best thing for him will be to be a full-time one way and then have a package on the opposite time receiver. Maybe you're in the nickel or the dime package, right? And make it easier for him, like, hey, you're going to play man coverage on this guy. Right? When we go out there, you're going to play man coverage on this. Because you got to think about it, too. Like, if he has to play full-time both ways, how much film you have to study? How much film you got to study to be on one side of the ball and to be good? Like, if you just play receiver, you know how much film you got to study and the techniques and the details you have to pay attention to. Like, if you line up at receiver, say on the outside, you got to understand what the coverage is, what that corner does, what his leverages are, what he likes to do on second down, third down, what the defense likes to do on second and third down. What are they bringing? Are they bringing pressure on third and short? If they bring pressure, do I have a sight adjustment? It's so many details to the game at wide receiver or on the opposite side or at cornerback, right? Or at defensive back. So it's going to take a lot no matter what. But I think you're right. The best way to do it is simply have him full-time at one position and then start him off with maybe a small package on the opposite side, whether it's 10 to 15 plays or whatever the case may be. Like, hey, go play dime. Every time we go dime, which would be, like you said, 10 to 12 plays a game, you're going to play man coverage. So he just has to work on his man technique, right? And he can work on that, refine that, and then as he gets better and more comfortable, then he can go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. They can give him a little bit more. But you're not playing against TCU no more. You ain't playing against UCF. Right, you ain't playing against college guys no more. You're playing against professionals. So the third or fourth receiver are still very good receivers, and their technique that they will have because they play one way may beat the lack of technique that he has right now. I'm not saying they can't develop him, but if you watch the film on Travis at cornerback, and again, this is just because he's playing both ways. He lacks a lot of technique. He's kind of bad with his eyes at times. He's kind of high in his back pedal. He kind of loses guys as the route goes on at times. But he's so athletic, he's able to make plays, right? He's able to make up for what he lacks in the technique. But he won't be able to get away with it that much in the NFL because the margin of error is so small. You know what I mean? So they're really going to have to work with him on that on both sides of the ball, the technique that comes with it. But I tell you what, it's exciting to talk about. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see how they're going to do it. And he's going to be dynamic. Like, I think he's the perfect fit, honestly. And I'm sorry, Auntie, I'm talking too much, but he's the perfect fit for a Jacksonville because he's bringing eyes to Jacksonville. He's bringing attention to Jacksonville in a very positive way. There's never, in my opinion, maybe back in the leather helmet days, there's never been a player that's played the way he played the game in college football. And now you get him. I mean, he caught 91 passes last year. 91. And was a full-time cornerback. Mm-hmm. You don't see that. You don't see that. So now you have that unicorn in the city of Jacksonville. That place is going to be jammed. I'm hoping that place is jam-packed from the first preseason game to the playoffs. Like, I'm hoping because that's exciting. That is exciting, right? And he's the type of guy that I think he's better fit for a small market. I don't think he can, I shouldn't say he can't, but I think he's more comfortable in a smaller market where he can just focus on football. That's all he cares about. Football, his fiance, his family, and gaming. Like, that's perfect. Just live in Jacksonville. Ain't too much going on. Focus on the game, have a good time, and go ball out. And I think it's a perfect marriage because they had to figure out all the details of how to get the best out of it.
Final moments, former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Yeah, you mentioned football. He's getting married, gaming, and he also enjoys fishing, from what I've been told from his high school coach. So Jacksonville's a good spot for that as well. Cecil, I haven't had you on since free agency. Quickly, Eric Murray, former Texan. You're also a former Texan. You do some work with the Texans organization. Talk about Eric Murray. What are the Jaguars getting with the free agent from Houston?
He made some great plays for Houston the last couple of years. He's a feisty guy. He can play in the slot. He can play outside a little bit. He's going to be in the right spot at the right time. And I think he's just a professional. You know what I mean? He's a professional. So I don't think he's I would say he's great at anything. He's just a very solid player. And when you add that to your roster, you're adding depth. You're adding somebody you can trust. You're adding somebody that you can count on. And I think the Texans counted on him the last couple of years, and I think Jackson will be able to do the same this upcoming year as well. Really good player.
Let me ask you about De'Ami Brown, the new wide receiver. Obviously, a lot of excitement about him based on what he did in the playoffs for Washington. Jacksonville gives him a one-year deal. You now team him with Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, and the other guys. What do you think about De'Ami Brown?
I'm excited about him, man. I think he kind of started coming to his own come playoff time. You know what I mean? During the year, kind of finding his footing. And then this year, man, I think he just came into his own as far as the postseason. So he can continue to find that rhythm with Trevor Lawrence. And then he won't be the guy that they're focused on. So there'll be opportunities for him to be one-on-one or mismatching the slot or have the third or fourth cornerback on him. And he can continue to get open and have success. So I think that's a really good spot for him. I think things can work out in a good way.
Cecil, as we begin to wrap up, not one, not two, but three former Jaguars made their way out to Houston this offseason. Christian Kirk, Ronald Darby, and Cam Robinson. And I'm just curious how the Texans are selling to their fan base, replacing Laramie Tunsil with Cam Robinson. That might be a hard sell, correct?
It's a hard sell, man. I've been talking about this. I'm like, well, not only did he leave Jacksonville, Jacksonville got rid of him because he wasn't playing well. When he goes to Minnesota, plays decent, and then you give him a 1-year, $14 million deal. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see. They got a good haul back for Laramie Tunsil, and the idea behind their offensive line was to really bring a new culture in there. They wanted a different mindset. They wanted more of a tough, more rugged, This is a different mindset for the culture in that offensive line room and how important it is. They brought in Cole Popovich, who's already there, but promote him from within. Cole Popovich, who's been around really good offensive line coaches in New England, and he actually been around Nick Caley, new offensive coordinator for the Texans as well. So they have some chemistry. I think that's one of the biggest things. The O-line coach and the OC, they weren't on the same page the previous years. So this year, it's really important that they have that relationship so that Cam and the other guys can teach the younger guys what's going on. But they drafted a guy from Minnesota, Tate Ursery. I think we all should keep an eye on. But they're bringing in tons of offensive linemen, like literally trying to find the best 5, 6, 7, 8 guys to be there. If Cam's one of them right now, he's the lead, probably start left tackle. But I wouldn't be surprised if they look elsewhere as well. I don't think that room is done. They're done putting that room together yet.
Cecil, leave us with this. I thought it was interesting. A couple of weeks ago, I believe you flew out to California with a bunch of other NFL alumni and participated in the NFL Network broadcast boot camp that they have every year for former players who want to get involved in TV media or et cetera. How was that experience for you, man?
Man, it was actually super cool. So we got a chance to basically learn from some of the best in the game when it comes to studio analysts, when it comes to play-by-play radio, play-by-play TV, and then doing podcasts and stuff like that. So they sat down with us on a Tuesday and Wednesday and gave us classroom work, like just taught us everything they know. And these are guys from Fox. These are guys from CBS, ESPN, Westwood One. These are guys from Amazon. These are guys from NBC, like all the major networks sitting down, teaching us everything they know. And then Thursday, we had to get suited and booted and go through a whole studio analyst segment. So we add, 3 or 4 questions on camera. I'm talking, it's me, Maurice Jones-Drew, who's the NFL Network now. That was pretty cool. It was a lot of former Jaguars there, actually. Brian Walters, Maurice Jones-Drew, who works for the NFL Network, he was there. Isaiah Stanback was there helping out. Rashad Jennings was there helping out. And then Eric Armstead was there, current Jaguar. So it was cool. Like, the Jaguars represented pretty well. But the opportunity that we got to get live reps, like live studio analyst reps, live reps of calling games on radio and TV, and then you get to go watch the film of you doing it and then go back and do it again and try to improve. It's pretty cool. And the relationships you make with the different networks, try to keep in touch, it's pretty cool, and it can help you grow and just get better at what you do, and hopefully, land a job one day. It's a good starting point for guys trying to get in sports broadcasting world. So it was a lot of fun.
I absolutely love it. And the NFL does that every year. I saw you went out there to do it, and I thought that was very, very cool. He's one of our favorites, former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Cecil, how's the offseason going for you, man? I mean, it's going to be training camp before we know it. You enjoying your downtime?
I'm enjoying the downtime, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I got to make sure I get to Jacksonville this year. When they made that trade for Travis, I'm like, I told my wife, hey, we got to go for a week or two. We got to go down to Duval and watch some training camp and see that live. But it's been good, man. Ready for the summer. Kids getting on my nerves, but that's what we're supposed to do. So,
well, Cecil, enjoy the summer, man. We'll touch base again right before training camp. Always appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, sounds good, RG. Thank you.
There you go. Cecil Shorts with us here on Hacker After Dark. That's my guy, one of my favorites. And again, we'll get him every week once the season kicks off here on HAD. And you could tell by his voice, right? The excitement in his voice about Travis Hunter, how pumped he is to have Travis Hunter now in this ecosystem here in Jacksonville. I will tell you, the Knicks and the Pistons are at the half in Detroit. Knicks looking to close out the series. Pistons looking to force a Game 7, which will be back in Madison Square Garden. And the Pistons lead 61-59 at the half. And what has been probably the best series in the first round. Detroit lost 2 heartbreakers at home. They've actually beaten the Knicks twice in the Garden. If the Pistons win tonight, again, the series would go back to Madison Square Garden for Game 7. The Knicks hope that doesn't happen. They're looking to close it out tonight. The winner of this series will get Boston in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Later on tonight, the Nuggets and the Clippers. Nuggets up 3-2 in that series. They're looking to close it out. The Clippers, of course, looking to force a Game 7 that will be back in Denver in a couple of days. More on the NBA playoffs. We'll keep you updated on that Detroit-New York game when they get out of the halftime break. Coming up next, more on the Jaguars. Not just about Travis Hunter, but let's look at the other draft picks. Let's look around the division of the AFC South a little bit as well. My buddy Luke Easterling, one of the best when it comes to the draft talk of Athlon Sports. I've had Luke on for years, and he joins us next to put a bow from his perspective on how the Jaguars fared from Travis Hunter down to LaQuint Allen and all points in between. Luke Easterling, Athlon Sports, joins me next. Hacker After Dark on a Thursday night in Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us.
From the preseason to the playoffs and every day in between.
Each man individually preparing himself to be the best he could possibly be. Better than he's ever been. Because that's what it's going to take.
At 1010XL, the season never ends.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Plumbing problems? AC not blowing? Septic tank doing whatever septic tanks do? Don't call 3 different companies and play contractor roulette. Just call Duck Rooter. We handle plumbing, septic, and air conditioning all under one roof. That's one call, one company, and one bill that won't give you a heart attack. For fast, reliable, and slightly ducky service, call 904-862-6769 or waddle over to duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Want a simple way to boost your company's image without a big renovation? A fresh paint job in your brand's colors can increase recognition up to 80%. At Performance Painting, we help companies stand out with clean, on-brand finishes that impress clients and energize employees. From color consultations to low-odor coatings that won't disrupt operations, we've got you covered. Visit performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. It's kind of like his own private locker, and you're his guest.
Every time we talk, I'm reinvigorated by my love of the game.
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010xl.com.
Hayes Blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Hey, this is Coach Jason Gibson of your Jacksonville Sharks. I know the importance of a strong game plan, and that's exactly what I've got with Clay Solar Installation Partners. They did the install of the solar panels at my house, and I couldn't be happier. Lower energy bills, clean power, and a winning team that made the whole process easy. If you're looking to save money and go solar, trust the pros at Clay Solar. Call Karen at Clay Solar today and tell them that Coach Gibson sent you.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Visit sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
Leon Cersei here. Let's be real. I used to eat like a lineman because I was one. And man, those habits are hard to break. I needed help to stop with the munchies and lose weight. But now, I'm bringing sexy back. I call Physician Guided Weight Loss. Their medical team is helping me shed pounds safely with a custom plan to help me slim down. And their firm pricing means same price every month. Hey, you want to bring sexy back? Visit Physician Guided Weight Loss at pgweightloss.com.
ET here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, visit my buddy Dr. McGowan at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. You have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits, even if you're at fault. And no matter what you hear, you have the right to choose your own doctor. So I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Their auto experts will guide you in every step of the way to ensure the care that you need. Your recovery starts with McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Veteran owned.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The NFL draft in the rearview mirror. The Jaguars make 9 picks in total, including the big one in round number 1, trading up to take Heisman winner Travis Hunter. Let's talk about Travis Hunter. Let's talk about the rest of the Jaguar draft class with Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Luke is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Luke, are you decompressing after this past weekend's NFL draft?
Yeah, a little bit, man. I think it won't fully decompress for another week or so here. I've still got a couple early 2026 things to get out because I'm an absolute maniac when it comes to this stuff. And then we've got some things coming up for the NFL preview issue, the magazine that we put out every year as well. So I'm writing some stuff for that now that we have all the draft info to kind of plug into to all those different open spaces. So I'll be working on that for the next week or so. But then I might actually get to take a nap. But yeah, man, it's my favorite weekend of the year. I love it, and it's worth every bit of energy I pour into it.
You know, you and I spoke a few times leading into the draft, and I think every time I had you on, Luke, I never asked about Travis Hunter because there was never any reason to ask about Travis Hunter. He wasn't going to be there at number 5 until James Gladstone and Liam Cohen decided to do something about that on Thursday. Your reaction to the trade and the Jaguars landing Travis Hunter?
You know, I love it for a bunch of different reasons, and I think, when you look at the price tag, obviously it looks pretty steep, but a couple of things on that. I think there were 3 players in this draft that were truly elite as prospects, like a really rare talent. I think Travis Hunter is the number 1 player, and I think he's in a class by himself because of what he can do on both sides of the ball, but also just because I think he's got a rare mind. I think he's a rare person. I think his ability to play both ways is as much a mental credit to him as it is a physical one. And so, Abdul Carter and Ashton Jeanty were the other 2 elite prospects in this draft. And they could have stayed at 5 and taken Jeanty. But I think again, Travis Hunter's just a unique player. I don't think we've seen anything like him. And so when you think about that in terms of the trade up, and I know James Gladstone and the Jaguars view it this way, they basically traded next year's first round pick and a second round pick this year. But they ended up with 2 players worthy of the number 2 overall pick, in their opinion. Like they got Travis Hunter, the wide receiver, and Travis Hunter, the corner, each of whom is worthy of that pick. So to them, they spent 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick on 2 elite players. And so I can't argue with that. I think they, again, sitting at 5, felt like if we stay at 5, and even if we don't take Ashton Jeanty, we're picking a guy that's probably not much different than the guy we could have gotten at 15 or 20 in this draft. And do we really want to walk away with that, especially for a team that came into this draft with 10 picks in this draft? They still ended up making 9. And so they had plenty of capital to work with. And so it hurts less to give up a 2 when you've got 2 3s and 2 4s and that sort of thing. So, again, I think the player is special. I think the person is special. I think the price tag was worth it. And I'll say this about giving up next year's first-round pick. Not only is Travis Hunter going to make you a better football team on both sides of the ball, but I never believed that the Jaguars in their current state were one of the 5 worst teams in the league. I feel like that roster is way more talented than that. You already have your franchise quarterback in place. You have 2 fantastic pass rushers, 1 on each edge. You've got a couple of solid linebackers. You've got a lot to work with in that roster. And so I think that first-round pick is going to end up being a lot later than the Cleveland Browns would like it to be next year, and I think it'll prove to be worth it to get up and get a special player in Travis Hunter.
Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Luke, I couldn't agree more with you. The national narrative that the Jaguars gave up too much, I just don't think they did. I don't think people have fully actually looked at the trade. I mean, a lot of the trade is in the hay is in the barn. The only thing left is the first-rounder next year. You look at what Cleveland did with those picks, Mason Graham and a couple of running backs, compared to Travis Hunter, and Cleveland still gave Jacksonville 2 additional picks, one of which turned out to be Tootin, the running back from Virginia Tech, who by all accounts was a terrific pick there in round 4. Quickly, back to Hunter. They're going to start him on the offensive side of the ball, it appears. The idea of him on one side and Brian Thomas Jr. on the other, I mean, Luke, how good could that combo be?
Yeah, I don't want to have to defend that. That's for sure, because you can't roll coverages to one side or the other now. If you want to take basically shade a safety over Brian Thomas's side to make sure he can't take the top off of the defense, you're going to leave Travis Hunter one-on-one on the other side. You're going to have to play both of them equally if you don't want one of them to crush you. And so I think Travis Hunter's going to be, Trevor Lawrence is going to be a very happy man. And honestly, even from like a targets and a fantasy perspective, if people are worried that this is going to eat into, Brian Thomas Jr.'s value, I think it makes him more valuable. I think if you look at what's happening in Cincinnati with guys like T. Higgins as opposed to Jamar Chase, Tampa Bay with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, teams that have 2 elite wide receivers, they open things up for one another so that you can't just double cover one guy and figure out the rest later. And so I think it's going to make Brian Thomas Jr. that much more dangerous to have somebody like Travis Hunter on the other side of the field. And so, yeah, I think, again, Trevor Lawrence has got to be thrilled. I think it's going to do wonders for that offense. You mentioned Tootin. I think he's going to be Liam Cohen's new Bucky Irving. I see a lot of that opportunity to get nothing against Travis Etienne or Tank Bigsby. I think those guys will both still be involved if they're on the roster. But Tootin brings this a whole nother dynamic with his speed, his explosiveness, and he's a tough guy between the tackles. He's a tackle breaker too, not just a speed guy. And so I look at him and I see what Liam Cohen did last year with a rookie 4th round pick in Bucky Irving, who didn't have the elite speed. He was more, shifty and quick than fast. And now, to be able to work with that elite speed that Tootin has, man, I wouldn't be surprised to see him be the most meaningful back in that backfield next year. Because he'll play that role.
Tootin, the 4th round pick. Luke, let's talk about the 3rd round picks. Wyatt Milam, in a very short amount of time, has become a fan favorite here in Jacksonville. When you learn about this guy, I actually talked to his high school coach earlier on. That whole excessive blocking thing in the movie The Blind Side, apparently that's real, because Wyatt actually did get called for excessive blocking a couple of times in high school when he buried guys into the ground after the whistle. And also, he goes on the media call after he got drafted and says that he's not going to let anybody touch Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you want to talk about just eating into the hearts of Jaguar fans very, very quickly. When you say something like that about Trevor Lawrence, Jaguar fans are going to love you. And I think Wyatt Milam's the guy that's going to compete at left guard right away this year.
I think so, too. When you put on the film, man, he's, again, like you said, he's just a nasty dude. I feel like, and the positional versatility is huge for them as well. I know they've got Harrison at right tackle, but I think he could absolutely compete for that job if they need him to, or if somebody goes down, he can slide out and play that spot. But I think he'll be a very, very quality guard very early in his career. And I love echo of the whistle type offensive lineman, right, where you have to – I'd rather have to reel you in when it comes to your aggressiveness and your ability to finish strong than it is to kind of, get you to play that way. It's a lot harder to get people to pretend that that's just natural as it is to just kind of scale it back a little bit. So, yeah, I think he's going to be a fan favorite for a long time, man. I think he could start right away along the inside, but he gives you that versatility in case someone goes down. He can pop out and play tackle as well.
A couple more for Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Caleb Ransaw from Tulane was the pick, the second pick the Jaguars made. Cornerback in college, appears to be more the safety type in the NFL. Intangibly rich is what James Gladstone likes to say. And talking to people around that Tulane program, that's exactly what Caleb Ransaw was this past year.
Yeah, I think, again, if you just look at my board, he definitely came off the board a little earlier than I expected. But you go back and look at the combine, one of the fastest, if not the fastest DB there was. And so you've got the explosiveness. And I do like, again, versatility. So many of these secondaries in the NFL now, you can't just play one thing really well and be as valuable as you used to back in the day. The more you can do, the more you can get on the field and the bigger impact you can make. So the fact that he can line up at corner, he can play in the slot, he can play safety deep, all of that is going to help allow the Jaguars to be more creative and more multiple in how they roll coverages post snap and line people up in different ways to try to confuse opposing quarterbacks. And again, when you have elite athleticism and speed like Ransaw has, that's going to be something that can overcome a lot. And so, again, when you throw in the other stuff, again, these teams know a lot more about these players behind the scenes than the media does. And so when you do have those conversations and you learn about the person and the character that they bring to the table, I think that's what separates a lot of these guys that come off the board earlier than some of us in the media expect, is because behind the scenes in those interviews and those private meetings with the teams, we don't get as accurate an understanding of how the teams feel about the people that they're drafting. And I think that's why a guy like Ransaw comes off the board a little early, because a team like the Jaguars just understands it's not just about the player, but we really like the teammate and the leader he's going to be in this locker room. And that's why he was a day 2 pick.
If there was a head scratcher for Jaguar fans, it might have been Jack Kaiser, the 4th round pick out of Notre Dame, one of the oldest prospects. And not so much that he's a bad player, but the Jaguars already have Ventrell Miller and Chad Muma and Foye Oluokun and Devin Lloyd. I mean, I don't know what the plan is for Kaiser. A 4th round pick is a pretty substantial pick. He appears that he's going to be in the mix, certainly. What was your take on Kaiser coming to Jacksonville?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, again, it was a little early for me. And in terms of the fit, I think, especially when you look across the entire draft class, the Jags make 9 picks. And this was the deepest draft of interior defensive linemen I've seen in a long, long time. And so for the Jaguars to make all 9 of those picks and not take a single one of those guys, then you throw in the fact that they spent, again, an early 4th-round pick on a linebacker they didn't really need and a guy that I thought was more of a late-round kind of special teams type guy. That was a bit confusing to me. I think there were a lot of interior defensive linemen on the board there that I think would have been great values and would have filled a much bigger need for the team. Obviously, once the guy gets on your team, he's your guy, and you're hoping the best for him. But that's where I would have gone with that pick, because I think there were just so many players at that position and they needed it, and then they came out of the draft with none at all.
You know, if you rewind the clock back to last year, again, different regime, obviously. It was Trent Baalke drafting. But I guess, Luke, if this draft showed us anything, it's that the new regime, they must be pretty high on both Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson.
Yeah, they must be. And again, that's an element. You know, I'm a Tampa guy, and we're dealing with the same thing with the linebacker position, the off-ball linebacker. It's kind of the other way around, where, you know, the Bucs came out of this draft without a single off-ball linebacker, even though it was one of their bigger needs. But then you start to think about it, and you're like, well, you know, maybe that just means that they're highly confident in the guys they brought on in the offseason. They're highly confident in a guy that's coming back from injury that we didn't see on the field last year. And also, you know, linebacker is different because that was the weakest position group in this class as opposed to defensive line. But that's, you know, it does speak to the fact that we can forget sometimes that the teams can have different confidences in different guys than the media can on the outside.
Final moments, Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Luke, as we begin to wrap up, of the other 3 draft picks, whether it was Jalen McLeod of Auburn, Rayon Lane from Navy, Jonah Monheim from USC, any of those 3 stick out? I guess Rayon Lane to me is interesting because I'm talking to people here in the last day or two. Apparently, the Naval Academy might have worked against him. I've heard a couple of people tell me that if he was in a Power 4 conference, that he might have been a 4th or 5th round pick. Some teams were maybe, I don't know if scared away is the right verbiage, but because he's a Naval Academy player, that kind of put some teams or put him lower on some boards there.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It always comes down. I mean, the tricky thing with the academy sometimes is you don't know if they're going to be allowed to play. You know, they have, you know, specific, you know, things they have to get in order and permissions they have to get to be able to play. We've dealt with that in the past. And so I think that was probably the trickiest part. I don't know if it's as much like a level of competition type thing as it would be the logistics and the kind of red tape that it takes sometimes. But Lane, the player, is fantastic. I think if he gets a legitimate shot to play in the league, I think he can stick. Jalen McLeod is fun just because I love the pass rushing upside. And that's when you're picking late in the, you know, day 3 in the 6th, 7th round, it's about, you know, who fell, who's a really good player, but maybe they have a flaw, maybe they've got an injury they're coming back from, who is, you know, just a really high traits player that has a great ceiling, but needs a lot of polish in terms of the technique, just needs more experience, you know, and who can make an impact on special teams right away, who can just fill those, you know, the bottom spots of the 53 and compete for a roster spot by being able to get on the field on all your special teams. And McLeod is one of those high upside guys as a pass rusher. He's really versatile. You're not really sure what you're getting with him because he lined up all over the place at Auburn. But he's really explosive. When they lined him up on the edge and sent him after the quarterback, I think that's when he did his best work. So I'm excited to see him develop. Jonah Monheim, I thought, was their best value pick of the draft based on my board. I had him, I think, in the early 5th round range. They got him early in the 7th round, and I think he's got the potential to be a starter down the road. He's a highly experienced guy coming from, again, a Power 5 school at USC. And then I think, again, double dipping at running back was kind of an odd decision, but I can't argue with the value. Again, LaQuint Allen, their last pick towards the end of the 7th round, highly productive, very well-rounded running back, and speaks to the depth of this running back class, which I thought was loaded. The fact that a guy like that was still on the board in the 7th round, I don't blame the Jags for not being able to pass on him as well.
Luke, final question. From a mile-high view, how do you assess the Jaguars draft as a whole? What type of grade did you give them?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to go back and scroll through my 8,000-word monstrosity here to see what I gave them and be accurate here. I know that across the board, when you get the best player in the draft, that's a great start. And when you address most of your needs, you get some upside, you get some explosiveness, and you do it in a way that makes sense. I gave him an A, and I thought I did, but I wanted to be sure. Again, you had 10 picks. You ended up with 9. You ended up with the best player in the draft. You made a bold move, and you told this entire fan base, I'm not Trent Baalke. This is not the old days. This is a new day in Jacksonville for sure. We're going to make bold moves. We're going to do what we think is best to change the fortunes of this team. And again, I think lurking under the surface is that this team, this roster, in terms of the overall talent, is far closer to the team that made that great comeback and beat the Chargers in the first round of the playoffs a couple years ago than they are being the fifth worst team in the league, which by record they were last year. I just think they're way closer to being a contender than people give them credit for. And I think this regime, James Gladstone, again, young guy with a lot of new ideas, a lot of fresh ideas. Liam Cohen, a first-time head coach, but a guy that completely transformed the offense in Tampa Bay last year. They were a top 5 offense in both rushing and passing last year. And so I think the sky's the limit for this Jaguars team, and I think this class will help them surprise a lot of people next season.
Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports. Luke, you've been so gracious with your time this entire process. Thank you for joining us again tonight to recap the draft. Man, we certainly appreciate it, and we'll talk again soon, pal.
Absolutely, man. It's always been a pleasure. Look forward to it.
A bunch of misfits that are finally starting to gel.
Veterans are starting to play back to form, and the rookies are developing faster than I thought. There's 2 or 3 potential all-stars in there.
1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
If you'd like to help support domestic violence victims, you can get involved in the Par for a Purpose golf tournament, hosted by Micah's Place at the Golf Club of Amelia Island on June 20th. Register and learn more at micahsplace.org/golf.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund helps families battling childhood cancer, and there are ways you can help. Go to tcjfund.org.
If you're a dog lover who wants to help animals, our furry friends need exercise and time out of their kennels. You can make a difference in a dog's life at volunteer@jackshumane.org.
Military veterans have always protected us, and in Jacksonville, thousands of our veterans suffer from mental wounds like PTSD. Now it's time to return the favor. Learn how you can help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler, and this Mother's Day, we'd like to help you celebrate Mom with up to 40% off our entire inventory. GIA-certified natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds, beautiful colored gemstones, designer brands, custom jewelry design, and Monahan Jewelers offers interest-free financing on any purchase, so get something special with a payment you can afford. Come celebrate Mom with fine jewelry at up to 40% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound & Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound & Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Mack and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars to trucks to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. So check out the Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Cassa Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us. 1010XL and 92.5 FM. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night right here on Hacker After Dark. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, Brent Bedsole is the NFL liaison for Auburn football and the Auburn Tiger football program. Jalen McLeod, a 6th-round pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars, a young man that transferred to Auburn from App State, had 13 and a half sacks in just 2 years on the Plains. The Jaguars drafted him this past weekend. Brent Bedsole of Auburn football joins us to give us a little insight on Jalen McLeod. That comes up in less than 15 minutes. And towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, my buddy Ben Troop, former All-American tight end at the University of Florida. We will talk to Ben not only about DJ Lagway and the Gators, but Ben wants to talk about Travis Hunter. Keep in mind, Ben's from the state of Georgia. Travis Hunter played high school ball in the state of Georgia. Ben Troop has known about Travis Hunter for a long time. And when an All-American tight end at the University of Florida wants to talk about Travis Hunter, we give him that opportunity here on Hacker After Dark. So I'm looking forward to talking with my friend Ben Troop. That does come up here in just a little bit. All right, NBA playoffs going on right now. Again, as we told you, later on tonight, the Clippers and the Nuggets. The Nuggets get in that series with a win. The Clippers will look to force a Game 7 back in Denver. That is a 10 o'clock tip. Right now in Detroit, the Knicks up 7, 76-69, New York over Detroit. 7.5 to go in the third quarter. A Knicks win ends the Detroit Pistons season. A Pistons win will force a Game 7 back at Madison Square Garden. Again, the winner of this series will take on Boston in one of the Eastern Conference semifinals. We already know the other one. It's going to be Cleveland and Indiana. So we're just waiting for the fourth piece to be finalized for the Final Four in the East. New York can be that team tonight with a win. They now lead by 9, 78-69, with 6.5 to go in the third quarter. Speaking of the NBA, quickly back to last night. Boy, what a performance by the Minnesota Timberwolves. What a performance by Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, and everybody involved. You know, it was interesting. When Minnesota traded Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks, people thought, well, Minnesota's in the midst of a rebuild because I guess they didn't know how good Anthony Edwards was. He's the best player in the NBA that nobody talks about. I mean, if Anthony Edwards played in New York or in Los Angeles, he would be one of the cover players for video games, magazines, etc. But because he's in Minneapolis, he gets lost in the wash a little bit. He's incredible. And they just took it to the Lakers. They took it to Luka. They took it to LeBron. They win 4-1. I've never been a LeBron James fan, per se. In fact, there was a couple of years where I couldn't stand LeBron James after he did the decision. You know, I'm being an Orlando Magic fan. I had to deal with obnoxious bandwagon Miami Heat fans here that only were Heat fans because of LeBron. I always used to have fun with Heat fans that claimed they were Heat fans when LeBron signed there. I always said, quickly, give me your thoughts on Glenn Rice. or Eddie Jones or Tim Hardaway or Ronnie Cycli, and they looked at me and had no idea. It's because they weren't Miami Heat fans. They just wore Heat apparel because of LeBron James. And because I had to deal with that being a Magic fan, I just didn't like LeBron. But then he goes back to Cleveland. He wins the title. Great story. Goes to the Lakers, what have you. But I do hope people have appreciated LeBron James. I think we probably only get one more year of him. I think next year is probably his final season. And if you think about the last, well, definitely decade, but even, the last, 6-7 years, think about the great players that we've lost in all these sports. The guys that have stepped aside in the NBA, from Dirk Nowitzki to Tim Duncan, right? If you want to go back in memory a little bit, it would be within the last decade. The late, great Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett. LeBron's probably only got a year left. Tiger Woods, who knows if we'll ever see him play another golf tournament again. In tennis, we've lost Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal to retirement. Serena Williams as well. I mean, do you guys realize that in the last 10, 15 years, we've lived through arguably the best football player that's ever lived in Tom Brady, certainly the best quarterback. In the conversation for two of the greatest NBA players that have ever lived, Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. Two of the three greatest tennis players, men's tennis players that have ever lived, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. The greatest women's tennis player that's ever lived, Serena Williams. I mean, based on merit, you could argue one of, if not the greatest NASCAR driver that's ever lived, in Jimmy Johnson. I know people would obviously argue the King and Dale Earnhardt as well. But Jimmy Johnson, based on accomplishments and merit, has to be in that conversation. And Father Time waits for nobody. We're losing all of these folks to retirement. And I just hope that if we do get one more year of LeBron, which I believe we will, and you are a LeBron hater or whatever you want to call yourself, at least take a couple of moments next season to appreciate what you're watching. Like, I remember when Jordan was with the Wizards and people just gave him grief. I didn't give him grief. I appreciated it because I knew it was soon to be gone. I know LeBron is soon to be gone. And I'm going to passionately root against him when they play Orlando next year. But aside from that, I want to watch as much LeBron James as I possibly can. Because LeBron James don't come around every year, every 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. They're once in a generation, man. That's our Michael Jordan. That's our Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's our Wilt Chamberlain. And hopefully we get at least one more year to watch it and appreciate it. And just take time to appreciate it before he packs up and retires, like all these other great athletes that have done so in all these sports over the last decade or so. Ben Troop, former Gator, All-American tight end, joins me at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Coming up next, let's go out to the Plains. Let's go to the Auburn University. The Jaguars drafted Jalen McLeod in round number 6 out of Auburn last weekend in the NFL draft. Coach Brent Bedsole is the NFL liaison for Auburn Tiger football. And he sheds a little insight on Jalen McLeod next. Hacker After Dark on a Thursday evening here in Jacksonville, Florida. And we are glad you are with us.
Play-by-play just makes everyday life better.
I did not see this one coming.
Get the most play-by-play on 1010XL, Jacksonville's play-by-play sports radio.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Looking for a fun-filled evening that the whole family can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football, a fast-paced, action-filled sport where excitement meets family fun. Check out your hometown Sharks on Saturday, May 3rd at 7 p.m. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. Go Sharks!
Prosser here. The Sharks look to get back in winning form this Saturday while you enjoy a fun-filled evening. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Discover the thrill of indoor football, fast-paced, action-filled, family fun, and check out our hometown Sharks. Saturday, May 3rd, kickoff, 7 o'clock at the ViStar Memorial Arena. For tickets and the family 4-pack information, go to jacksonsharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700.
Go Sharks!
1010XL Draft Profiles are brought to you by River City Screens.
The Teal and Black looked to make a statement in round 1 of the draft, and they wouldn't disappoint as they traded up to secure the number 2 pick, selecting Travis Hunter of Colorado, a two-way star unlike anything the NFL has seen in the modern era, viewed as both the best corner and receiver in the draft class. James Gladstone has excited the squad and fan base with this selection, feeling that Hunter won't only alter the team, but the entire sport as we know it.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, worried about your finances in these crazy times? Hey, it's Prosser here. And if you're like most people, you've racked up a sizable amount on your credit cards, and the monthly payment is not making a dent in it. It's time to call Loan Pronto. If you own a home, you have a super easy way to get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash. Loan Pronto has lots of options for helping you tap into the equity in your home and get the cash you need to get back on solid footing. Most homeowners who do this end up wiping out all their credit card debt and cutting their monthly expenses by $1,000. Look, you didn't mean to end up here, but you don't have to keep stressing out about money. Call Loan Pronto for fast debt relief now. 904-999-1508. That's the number to Loan Pronto. Or you can also go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 1st, 1991, MLB outfielder Rickey Henderson steals his 939th base, setting a new MLB record for stolen bases. Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
Yo, 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 it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
Is your office productivity running at full speed? Advanced Business Solutions has the solution with Xerox copiers. Whether you need high volume printing, scanning, or secure document management, Xerox copiers deliver efficiency, quality, and innovation. With features like cloud integration and mobile printing, Xerox is perfect for any modern office. Let ABS help you streamline your workflow. Veteran owned, Advanced Business Solutions.
Advanced Business Solutions.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are glad you are with us. This past weekend in the NFL Draft, the Jaguars went out to Auburn and got Jalen McLeod, a man that had 8 sacks last year in the Southeastern Conference for War Eagle. Let's talk a little bit about Jalen McLeod. Let's head out to Auburn right now. Brent Bedsole is the NFL liaison for Auburn football, and Brent's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Brent, how we doing?
Doing great, Ryan. Thank you for having us, and thank you for Jalen McLeod landing with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, let's talk about Jalen a little bit. Obviously, 8 sacks. We know he was a transfer in to Auburn to finish his college career. Was pretty productive, basically, for the entirety of his college career. Brent, what are the Jaguars getting with Jalen McLeod?
Well, you're getting a very hard worker, a guy that was not afraid to put in the work, and is self-motivated kid. young man, I should say. He's not a kid any longer. He came here as a guy that we thought could help us off the edge, and he came in and answered that bell pretty easily. Jalen is not a no-nonsense guy, hard worker guy, not going to be a lot of personality there with him is a hard work guy. So Jalen is exactly what you guys probably need playing in that defense coming off the edge. And they've tried to play him in the box a little bit during the Senior Bowl, which he'd never done before. And I thought he took to that like a duck to water. Did a really good job there during the Senior Bowl time. It was impressive.
You know, the new general manager here in Jacksonville, James Gladstone, has used the term intangibly rich, wants to bring intangibly rich players to Jacksonville. And talking to other people around Jalen McLeod, it sounds like that's exactly what Jacksonville's getting, a guy with all sorts of intangibles.
Yeah, he does. You know, some guys look at him and go, well, he's kind of undersized to be an edge guy, but not in a 3-4 type defense. He's more of a come off the edge, stand up two stance guy. Also very, very intangible in the special teams area. Very good intangibles there. He can play a lot of special teams for you in different positions. So I think he's a guy that's going to be a guy that you'll see a lot on special teams. That's probably where he'll make the team. And then you turn around and put him in there as your fourth, fifth linebacker during the game. I think he'll be able to handle that. So intangibles is a great way to talk about Jalen McLeod.
Couple more for Brent Bedsole, the NFL liaison for the Auburn Tigers, talking about Jalen McLeod, who the Jaguars drafted in this past weekend's NFL draft. You know, Brent, obviously with Joshua Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker here, the Jaguars just signed Emmanuel Ogbah. Jalen's going to be some depth at edge, but that's some depth the Jaguars have sorely needed. There was quite a few years here where Joshua Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker basically had little to no help behind them. Now all of a sudden you had a veteran like Ogbah, you bring in a rookie like McLeod. If McLeod's asked to just simply go get the quarterback to give Hines-Allen and Walker some rest, that seems like something that he's primed to do as a rookie.
Yeah, with 22 and a half career sacks, he's done that a lot, and that speaks volumes of the speed. His quickness off of his first step coming off the line is incredible. Jalen brings with him, that's because of his work ethic, but he also brings with him the intangibles. He's got longer arms. You know, his arms are long for a guy that's 6'1". He ended up 80-inch arms, wingspan, which is a good wingspan for a guy his size. So Jalen packs a lot of punch into a smaller frame. But the NFL guys I talked to all year long about him loved his work ethic, loved his personality. He's going to be great for the community. He's going to be great for the locker room. He's just got a lot of intangibles, as you said, Ryan.
You know, as we begin to wrap up, we've talked about Jalen the player. What about Jalen the person? You know, you mentioned great for the community. What type of guy is coming to Jacksonville?
So Jalen as a person is a guy that will get out in the community, and he's a giver, not a taker. He loves to give, big smile, personality plus as far as the way he treats people. A lot of the people in this area, he's gone out and done a lot of things. A lot of people in this area of Auburn come back and talk about Jalen McLeod and the way that he has infiltrated himself into the schools here, into the going by the hospital and seeing patients at the hospital. I mean, he's just got a lot of those personality traits that are very positive for a team looking to bring in a young man that is going to be a good player, but also good for the community and good for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And you mentioned the Senior Bowl, and that's something I wanted to bring up with you as we begin to wrap up as well. The fact that he was asked to do something else at the Senior Bowl that he wasn't really accustomed to, and he did it. No complaining, no anything, and that goes back to the intangibles, right? And there's some tweener characteristics for Jalen. Can he be an edge backer? Can he be, off ball, as you mentioned? So he does have some flexibility potentially.
Yeah, I think it speaks to his football intelligence because that's hard to do. It doesn't seem like it, Ryan, when you move from outside backer and jump inside of a box, but you're doing totally different reads. On the outside, you're reading the edge hip of the tackle, and there's only a one-way read there. You get into the box, now you're reading the guards to the running back. So there's a two-way read there that's gonna make you have to see things quicker. And as fast as things happen in the league, he's gonna have to see that quicker. And I think that's the transition they're gonna try to see him make. He possibly could be a guy that comes off the edge, but then maybe in certain down situations, you move him into that. Say you get into a nickel or dime package where you take a linebacker off the field. He's fast enough and he's twitchy enough to go in there to the middle linebacker's position and possibly play there for a little bit to give some guys some rest.
And, Brett, final question. You mentioned 8 sacks in the Southeastern Conference. Look, that's no joke. I mean, whether, I'm biased, you're biased, we're biased, whatever, the SEC clearly is the best conference in college football. And if you come in and in 1 year's time as a grad transfer, you get 8 sacks, you make your presence felt, that had to open some eyes out there.
Well, he got 8 sacks in 2024, but in 2023, his first year here, he had 5.5 sacks. So 13.5 sacks overall in his 2 years here at Auburn, not counting the fact that he had 9 sacks while he was at Appalachian State. So very productive player, and a player that I hope the Jacksonville Jaguars will use and keep around so that he can show what he can do for you guys, and y'all can fall in love with Jalen like we did here at Auburn.
Brent Bedsole, the NFL liaison for the Auburn Tigers, talking about Jalen McLeod, who the Jaguars used a 6th-round pick on in this past weekend's NFL draft. Brent, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. Thank you for sharing some insight on Jalen McLeod. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Take care, Ryan, and War Eagle.
Living on the First Coast.
The beach.
Loving the First Coast.
I love it. I love it.
1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I don't see how a new air conditioner is going to work out for me.
Well, you like air conditioning, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. But a new air conditioner could be expensive.
Well, not if you...
to save up the money, I probably have to give up my extra hot skim latte every morning. Now I fall asleep during a staff meeting, get volunteered for the summer picnic committee, and end up sitting in the dunk tank all afternoon getting water up my nose.
Okay, look at it this way. Put on these sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing puts in a new AC. We hook you up with affordable financing, and you stay cool and comfortable for just $149 a month. Cool?
Cool. I see it now.
Life can be hard on your budget. If you suffer through the heat because of a broken AC you could totally afford to replace, you could visit.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads. No. T-shirt cannon. I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Hicken here. So much of what makes us a family takes place in our homes. That's where Zero Res comes in. I love Zero Res, and this month get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet and air duct cleaner with May Mayhem. A 3-room special starting at $149 plus the 4th room is free. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean. Call Zero Res 28757 or go online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the Hicken special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler, and this Mother's Day, we'd like to help you celebrate Mom with up to 40% off our entire inventory. GIA-certified natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds, beautiful colored gemstones, designer brands, custom jewelry design, and Monahan Jewelers offers interest-free financing on any purchase, so get something special with a payment you can afford. Come celebrate Mom with fine jewelry at up to 40% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Denny Thompson here. You got to check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a fight for the last slice of pizza? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Wago Glass is clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
I'm 1010XL's media mogul, Dan Hicken, and before the weekend hits, I break down what to watch and where to be. Catch Musings with the Media Mogul on YouTube and Facebook, provided by Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jacksonville Jaguars added 9 players in this year's NFL Draft. Of course, the headliner is the Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter, who the Jaguars traded up to select Thursday night in the first round up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Let's talk about the Jaguar draft class. Let's talk about Travis Hunter, and let's mix in a little DJ Lagway Florida Gator talk as well with my buddy Ben Troop, a former All-American tight end at the University of Florida. Ben is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Ben, how you doing?
Brian, man, it's always good to catch up with you, man. Thanks for having me.
Ben, I haven't talked to you since Florida won the national championship. Have you gotten off the euphoric high of the Gator national championship a couple weeks ago?
I mean, I have, and obviously, you know, you feel good that Coach Golden, 3 years in, was able to get it done. Walter Clayton Jr., one of the most exciting players to ever come through University of Florida, as well as the NCAA tournament. But yeah, but also, you know, it's more about the teams that you play against. You know, when you former Florida Gator, you got to deal with these Georgia Bulldogs, you got to deal with these Tennessee Vols. I mean, you got to deal with these Auburn Tigers. And me living back in the state of Georgia, it's probably that me let them know that, listen, we call ourselves the Everything School because we won in everything. We don't call ourselves the Almost School because we almost won it and everything. But yeah, man, it's always good to hoist up another national championship, especially in such a competitive sport like basketball.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's been great for the Gator Nation the past couple of weeks. I want to throw a DJ Lagway question to you towards the end, but we wanted you on to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars and Travis Hunter. Ben, the Heisman Trophy winner, gets selected by Jacksonville, number 2 overall. Your thoughts Thursday night when you saw the Jaguars trade up to take Travis Hunter?
I mean, aggressive. And I think sometimes when you start talking about being able to get a once in a lifetime talent, maybe like a guy like Travis Hunter, you know, a 34-year-old GM, he's saying, look, I gotta do all I can to, you know, to show Jaguar Nation, man, we serious. And when I saw the trade, I said, Jacksonville about to get Travis Hunter, and the guy's dynamic. I mean, Liam Cohen being the new head coach of the Jaguars, he wanted to make a splash. I know that he saw that when Travis Hunter said, look, I mean, I want to go to a team that's going to let me play both ways. Now, we're going to see how they're going to potentially use this young man. Is he going to be the starting receiver or starting cornerback or, you know, a combination of the two? You get a Travis Hunter. I've known of Travis Hunter since his days at C1N with Cam Newton on the 7-on-7. The young man can play the game of football. And the fact that y'all traded up to get him, I saw him when he did his introductory press conference, walking through the facility. I saw him and Tony Baselli and different ones walking in. Travis Hunter makes not only your team better, it generates, you know, that interest in the city. I mean, ticket sales, you know, the guy brings all those things. We'll see how they use him, but you see why the Jacksonville Jaguars are trying to be contenders, and you see why teams like the Cleveland Browns are probably going to be, you know, bottom feeders for a while because they give away guys, you know, like Travis Hunter.
Former Florida Gator All-American tight end Ben Troop with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Ben, let's focus on Travis Hunter, the wide receiver, first, because I think that is where he's at least going to start. And the idea of Travis Hunter lining up on one side with Brian Thomas Jr. on the other, with Trevor Lawrence throwing them the football, has Jaguar fans salivating. Ben, what's your thought there?
It could be very dangerous. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr., I know people are going to talk about Malik Neighbors. I think he was by far the best rookie wide receiver last year, bar none. And then you think about a guy like Travis Hunter and him understanding coverages, him understanding what DBs are trying to do to him understanding zones, him understanding how to get open. I mean, the man has a knack for getting open. I think they put a lot of pressure on Trevor Lawrence and said, look, we gonna give you the weapons. I know we ain't got no Christian Kirk. I know we ain't got no Evan Ingram. But we go out there and get a guy like Travis Hunter. You saw what Brian Thomas Jr. was able to do in this rookie season. We give you De'Ami Brown. Give him a 1-year deal. You guys are going all in, and Travis Hunter, if anything else, who you gonna double? That's what they're really saying. All right, you're gonna have to double probably Brian, and then you see what Travis Hunter's gonna demand. Well, who's gonna deal with De'Ami in the slot? You guys. I'm giving a lot of Jacksonville love, but that offense could be very, very dynamic. Now, I don't know what you guys are going to do with Travis Etienne, because I see you guys got 2 running backs, but I think you guys are saying, but while our defense is getting up to par, we're going to try to beat teams with offense. And they was already calling, Thomas and, Hunter, what are they going to be as far as like duos? I said, well, I got to see them first, but if they do what I think they can do, I got to be in top 5, potentially top 10 before the season's out.
Ben, you were an All-American tight end in the Southeastern Conference. You were drafted in the 2nd round of the NFL draft. I mean, you're the perfect person to ask here. Is it possible to start on both sides of the football in the National Football League? I mean, is it physically possible to play 50 snaps on offense and 50 snaps on defense every Sunday?
No, but if anybody's going to attempt it, it's going to be Travis Hunter. Starting on both sides of the ball, no. Playing on both sides of the ball, potentially, because I do agree with something Steve Smith Sr. said when he was at Colorado Pro Day. He said, "Listen, man, the jack of many trades, man. They pay you to be a specialist." And the thing about Travis Hunter is, if with everything we've seen over our years of watching football, Ryan, somebody's going to threaten the status quo. Somebody's going to do it, and it has to be somebody dynamic. Well, Travis Hunter won the Blitnikoff. Right? He won the Heisman. He had 5 interceptions. He's the guy that it's not so much he can't do it. His body got to be able to, I know he don't get tired. I know he never ever get tired, but I just think that to get the best out of him, it's going to have to be specialists on one side of the ball with some snaps or some packages. Because if he's going to be you guys starting receiver, he's going to be Jacksonville starting receiver, he's going to have to be on a nickel when it comes to, which once again, is not a bad situation if I'm going to put him right there on the slot, which is where the ball is usually going to go when you're talking about moving the chains. But I don't think he could be able to start. But can he threaten the status quo? Because you know what it is. What it really is, Ryan, is not that if he can do it. If he does do it and he does it well, he will birth an entire generation of players. Because that's what Dirk Nowitzki did when you talk about the swing player in basketball. Look at all these centers shooting threes now. They don't even try to play down low. So I think it's more of what he could officially affect in the game of football than if he could start on both sides of the ball.
And again, former Gator tight end Ben Troop here with us. Look, you're the guy to ask. I'm the guy that's watching these games on the couch. You're the one that played in them. But my point of view is this. He played 100-plus snaps a game in college at a high elevation out there in Boulder, Colorado. The college game, from a actual game standpoint, is a lot faster. Now, the players are obviously faster in the NFL, but with all the TV timeouts and everything that goes into that, I mean, college offenses can run 80, 90 plays a game. NFL offenses, a good day at the office, is 55 plays a game. So from that standpoint, it will be interesting because you play 113 snaps in college. On an average NFL Sunday, if he plays a lot on both sides of the ball, Ben, what are we talking? 75, 80 plays? I think that would be conceivable if he's your full-time starter at wide receiver and, like you said, maybe 15 or 20 snaps on defense.
Yeah, and I see it being something like that. And look, I give Coach Liam Cohen a lot of credit, man. I mean, it wasn't going to be a lot. It takes new head coaches who are trying to figure out how I want to be seen as a coach. If this is a veteran head coach, they're not going to do it because they don't want to threaten. They don't want other coaches looking at them and say, "Hey, man, let's stick to how we do things in the NFL. If he's good enough, which he is, let's go out there and see. But it's the physicality part. I mean, Travis Hunter is not the biggest guy. He don't get hurt hardly ever. I think they're saying, look, it's about preserving your body. It's about taking care of yourself. And I mean, if he's going to be your nickel corner, that means that, hey, man, the ball, he want to be where the action is at. And I think that's where the action is going to be. Charles Woodson is the last player I can even halfway compare to a guy like Travis Hunter, even though Charles Woodson was a starting cornerback and played some receiver as well as with a kick returner, punt returner. Travis Hunter, if anybody was going to doubt a player, it wouldn't be him. Do I think he can do it? I think he's going to attempt to do it. Will he be effective at it? Because once he's tried to do it, and in this, depending on how it goes, we'll give a grade to it. But I'm looking forward to seeing him try to do it, because the fact that he's going to walk out there on both, because he's going to walk out there on both sides of the ball. Hey man, dare I say, man, he's changing how we looking at the receiver DB position, but. Jacksonville might have been able to afford him on his rookie deal. But if he's out there effective at both sides of the ball, I don't even know how you come up with a contract like that when it comes time to re-sign.
Ben, last thought about Travis Hunter. If he's your full-time starting wide receiver, and like we said, you maybe mix him in 15 or so snaps on defense, I guess my one concern would be, communication, being in those defensive back meetings. Is he going to know enough to be able to play, late game situations, big third down situations? If he's the full-time guy on offense, he's got to be in all those meetings. He's then got to go to the defensive meetings to understand what he's doing in a nickel or dime setup. But there's only so many hours in the day, right? It's not just on the field. It's the film. It's the homework that goes into getting ready for Sunday.
Yeah, and another thing to know, too, you taking somebody's job. If I'm the starting wide receiver and just say I was posted and I'm on the roster to be the third corner, on defense, well, then I get pushed to the fourth if he becomes the third. So it's the animosity part, which professionals going to do what professionals do. They're going to find a way to grit it and bear it. But like you just said, if he's going to learn the offense and he's going to learn packages on defense, how much does that play into what an offense is going to try to do to him on defense? They say, well, listen, we know how he plays. We know what he's going to do. Because defensive coordinators are going to be game planning him on offense, and offensive coordinators are going to be game planning him on defense. I just think that he's going to have to really, really understand the concept of what they're trying to do. Because if I have a Travis Hunter and he could be I think it would be better if he could be my starting corner. And I put him in on packages on defense, because then I could put Diami on the outside, Brian Thomas on the other, then I could put him in the slot. It would be much easier to learn those type of things, because if I could put him as my lockdown corner, what does that do for the other 10 guys on defense that I could really put a game plan in for?
Final moments with former All-American tight end Ben Troop. Ben, final Jaguar thought. They did not add a tight end in the draft. They added 2 tight ends in free agency, but obviously Hunter Long and Johnny Munt are not going to start. It appears this is Brenton Strange's barbecue now here in Jacksonville after the trade of Evan Ingram, or the release of Evan Ingram, rather. What is your thought on Brenton Strange, the former second-round pick out of Penn State, now being the guy at tight end here in Jacksonville?
Hopefully he's going to watch a lot of Evan Ingram tape, not to be like him, but to see like how he used space and how he used his ability. It's hard to compare any tight end to Evan Ingram, but I think this young can get a chance to go out there and understand. Look, like as I just mentioned, okay, they're going to probably double Brian Thomas. If Travis Hunter's on the other side, he's going to get that safety, over to his side. De'Ami Brown is going to be in the slot. I'm going to get one-on-one every game, not some games. I have to take full advantage of that, because while I understand what I got in Brian Thomas, what I got to see, what I kind of hope I hit the lottery with a guy like De'Ami Brown, 1 year, $12 million deal, and Travis Hunter, I'm going to be able to go out there and feast, because what Evan Ingram did in that offense was feast. I wish he was back, because I just like what he was able to do, but sometimes that price tag and getting injured just don't go together. But I think he got a shot to be really, really good in an AFC South that has linebackers who I don't think is equipped to handle his skill set.
And, of course, Ben Troop knows a little bit about playing that tight end position. All right, Ben, leave us with this. DJ Lagway reportedly started throwing again in the last couple of days. I know there was a lot of trepidation among Gator fans why he didn't do very much during the spring. Hopefully that shoulder will be okay. And if it is okay, again, if it is okay, a lot of expectations on your alma mater heading into 2025.
Yeah, I give Coach Napier a lot of credit. I mean, having a guy like DJ Lagway not throwing in the spring and the way they handled it, I give him a lot of credit for that. But the fact that he is back throwing, and obviously his injury isn't as substantial as people thought it was, because people was thinking that maybe he had to get surgery. Would he not start beginning of the season and come in, maybe like halfway during the year? That's a good sign. If he can not have a sophomore slump, kind of start 2025 the way he ended 2024 with these weapons he got at receiver, either coming back or just got on campus in the 2025 recruiting class. I think this offense could be very, very explosive. But I know I've been saying that a lot over the years. I like Graham Mertz, love Graham Mertz, happy that he got drafted to the Houston Texans. I think if DJ Lagway can be as good as advertised, stay healthy, and just get the ball out the way I know he can, I think this Florida Gator offense could be one of the best in the SEC, definitely one of the best in the country.
Ben, we got 60 seconds. Dallas Wilson went nuts in the orange and blue game. I'm trying not to read too much into that, but it's hard not to get really excited when you see what Dallas Wilson is capable of.
Dallas Wilson is a grown man, and I was happy to see it. Listen, the law offices of Wilson and Wilson for Florida next year, I hope both of them go off. But yeah, Dallas Wilson, man, I mean, he makes it look easy. He only likes our DBs for Florida because they on the same team. He got a problem with opposing DBs, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this young man can do come week one.
Ben Troop, former All-American tight end at the University of Florida. Ben, tell the Gator fans here in Jacksonville about the 84 Reasons podcast.
My 84 Reasons podcast is just, former Gator like myself talking to current, former, and future Florida Gators, whether you coaches, players, parents. Yeah, man, we just trying to make sure we go on there and just talk about the good old days from for being a washed-up player like myself, or talking to current players. That's current, Vernon Brown III. I got to play with his dad. I got to have him coming on here soon. And, and I like the chance to get to talk to the coaches and the family members of these players. But no games, no gimmicks, just reasons, 84 Reasons. Make sure you guys give a listen.
My buddy Ben Troop. Ben, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time as always, pal. We'll do it again soon.
Ryan, man, anytime you need me, I'm there, man. And listen, tell your Jags to take it easy on my Titans, man. I'm giving y'all a lot of love, but y'all coming for Houston this year. I think you guys are going to be ones to watch this year.
And thank you to my buddy Ben Troop, former All-American tight end at the University of Florida, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Ben from the state of Georgia, obviously very familiar with Travis Hunter, who played his high school football there in the state of Georgia. And Ben, I talked with him over the weekend as a former player. Boy, he was fired up about what the Jaguars did in acquiring Travis Hunter. Always appreciate Ben as well, talking about DJ Lagway back throwing the ball, as the Gators have obviously wrapped up spring ball, and now all eyes are on summer conditioning and certainly heading in to fall camp. So we spent some time on that, but obviously a majority of the time was on the Jacksonville Jaguars and this draft class. They do have a rookie minicamp coming up next week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then OTA work. On the field, OTA work will begin, I believe, on May the 19th, and that will continue through the middle part of June. They will then have roughly 5 or so weeks off, and then it's training camp towards the end of July as we start this whole thing over again in the 2025 NFL season. Well, that will just about do it, man. It has been a very, very busy Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, my buddy Ben Troop, former All-American tight end at the University of Florida. They get a Brent Bedsole of the Auburn Tiger football program for coming on to give us a little insight on Jalen McLeod, the 6th-round draft pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars. McLeod started at App State, transferred to Auburn, played there his last 2 years, 13.5 sacks in 2 seasons at Auburn, including 8 last year. So appreciate Brent Bedsole of Auburn to come on to talk about Jalen McLeod. Luke Easterling of Athlon Sports stopped by to give us his thoughts on the Jaguar draft class and the Travis Hunter trade as well. And then back in hour number 1, my buddy Cecil Shorts, former wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You get him every week here on Hacker After Dark during the season. We get Cecil periodically during the offseason. It was interesting talking to Cecil, a guy that played 7 years in the National Football League at wide receiver, to get his thoughts on Travis Hunter as a wide receiver in the NFL. Is it possible to play both wide receiver and DB? And based on what Cecil was telling us, look, the physical part of it, that's one aspect. But even tougher is the mental part of it, the meetings, the practices, knowing what's going on, knowing the schemes and the tendencies and everything you got to deal with by watching film on offense, let alone then doing all of that stuff on defense. And I appreciate Cecil's perspective as a former wide receiver in the National Football League, sharing that with us here tonight on Hacker After Dark. Well, that will, again, just about do it. We'll be back tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, just like today, I'll be on with Hayes Carline on the Frangie Show from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and then we'll also have Hacker After Dark to close out the week from 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock, so we do hope that you join us then. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green, and again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Thursday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Thursday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Friday, both right here on Hacker After Dark at 8 o'clock and in on the Frangie Show at 4 o'clock, and we do hope you join us for both programs. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Now he's going to run. It's a draw. He's across the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
I'm Mark Brunell on 1010XL,
home of the Jaguars.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function.